opportunity to bring forward, backed by popular demand, Ms. Laurel Clark, and she is going to introduce to us, why don't you come forward, the Outstanding Young Alumnus for 2022, Ms. Mimi Gonzalez. You're up here next to me.
Hello, everyone. How wonderful it is, wrote Anne Frank in her diary, that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. We live in tumultuous times with conflict in all four corners of the earth, and what we need, more than anything else, is a belief that each of us has the capacity to take a single step and make that effort to improve the world. Such is the energy and commitment of Mimi Gonzalez. You entered the university in 2013 and proceeded to earn 3 degrees. First from Hillyer College in 2015, then a bachelor's degree in psychology with a concentration in gender studies in 2019. Finally, a master's degree in organizational psychology in 2018. Your path forward from graduation was a commitment to make positive change, to be an activist. You were invited to be part of the Obama Foundation Leadership Corps. In 2019, you were selected to be a keynote speaker and a panelist at a session that included President Barack Obama. It led to other opportunities to speak at the United States of Women Summit. You are a community organizer and member of the board of directors of Connecticut Equity Now. You are passionate about creating a coalition immersed in amplifying anti-racism and transformational justice. It was not surprising that the legislature of the state of Connecticut selected you to receive the 100 Women of Color Award. Today, you are the Chief of Staff to the Chief Diversity Officer of Stanley Black & Decker, one of the nation's top corporations. You have helped the organization respond to the needs to develop modern and sophisticated commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have developed recruitment strategies to attract men and women of color to enter corporate life. You have been purposeful in seeking out graduates from the historic Black colleges and universities. The accolades don't fully capture your commitment to improve the world. In 2020, in the aftermath of the death of George Floyd, you were a key figure in the Hartford's region organization and response with a march that drew thousands in an effort to fight racism in our community. Hillyer College was founded on a mission of seeing potential in its students and helping those individuals achieve the full measures of that potential. We saw that in you as you began college in 2013 and celebrate the soundness of that decision today. Both personally and professionally, you embody the mission of the college in your life and in your work. Hillyer College and the University of Hartford are proud to count you among our own. In recognition of your promising career that already has set an impressive marks, we confer you upon Outstanding Young Alumna of Hillyer College this 20th day of April 2022.
Yes.
I'm actually closer to your height, by the way, but these heels and we're going to stay. Okay. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi. I'm so awkward. I need a second. Okay. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for this, and Dean Goldenberg. I know you say to call you David, but it's like weird. Okay. You're always Dean Goldenberg to me, and to Lori, and I have my 4 favorite professors here that literally changed my life. I got PJ over there, Dr. Paula Alderette, Professor Michelle Ferrari, Professor Maria Johnson, and Professor Lasco. Just so happy that you're here, and I'm going to try not to cry.
Bless you.
So, I have slides. I'll try not to spend too much time on them, but just you'll see me give advice later on where I say, say who you are before you say what you do. Because I feel like just in society we're conditioned to talk about, our work and our, what we do for school or whatever. And sometimes you have to show who you are as a person first so people can know who you are. So I'm Mimi. I am from Hartford, been between Hartford and West Hartford, Connecticut my whole life. Did not go far. My parents lived like 4 minutes away from college. So got home cooked meals and got to do laundry at home, so that was great. And as you can tell through the amazing bio that they wrote for me, I love social justice, I love the arts, I love connecting with people, and I think one of my favorite things is to kind of have uncomfortable conversations, because I feel through those is how we grow, and you'll see that there's a pattern of that throughout my journey that I'll share with you. So, the little symbol is not aligned. It's okay. This is my title slide. So first I just want to start with kind of my journey and where it all started. I tried to find a lot of pictures from my freshman year, and it was really hard. It was, 9 years ago now, so, but it was just definitely really great to find photos to reflect back on my journey, and I'm hoping for the college students in the audience today that you may relate to some of the things I say. But so a common theme that I guess had in college, I was very passionate about getting people together, and like I said, talking about uncomfortable conversations. So I would host open mics on campus and would have different themes. So the very first one here you see, I did my first open mic on suicide awareness. I lost a lot of people to suicide, unfortunately, but I felt mental health is definitely very important to talk about, especially freshman year of college, because you're adjusting to a whole new way of life, you're away from home, and I just felt it was really important for me to just bring people together. And the bottom picture, I got an award for it in 2014, so that was really cool. I didn't apply for it, so I didn't know it was a thing. Just like this award division was a thing. And then the next picture you'll see, I was part of SCA's, that's Student Centers Administration. I don't know if that rings a bell to you all, but that was one of my first jobs on campus, and we got to participate in this awesome event where we got to see Michelle Obama speak, and got to see Governor at the time, Governor Malloy speak, and it was really cool to just volunteer in the community, so that was definitely a highlight of freshman year. The next picture you'll see just one of my best friends, Kayla, and I. That's one of my best friends that I found on campus, and we bonded through our love of poetry and spoken word and open mics. So we actually hosted a couple on campus together. And then the next picture yonder you'll see is a class from my sophomore and my junior year. But that was another professor that actually made a huge impact on me in A&S. So her name is Professor Carol McKenzie. She is very out of the box, and that was one of the best things that could have happened to me in college, because she really challenged me to think beyond the status quo and really have those unconventional conversations, which literally was that class, because it was human sexual behavior. I loved the class so much, I actually was able to be her TA for 2 semesters after, and that was just a really great experience. Sometimes she would let me kind of teach the class, and it was amazing. And I can spend more time on the bottom left picture. Has anyone heard the term unified theater before? Mm-hmm. Yes? Yeah. Okay. So it originated in West Hartford, Connecticut, in Concord High School. I was really sad that I couldn't participate in high school because I had a very crazy high school life. I went to 2 high schools at the same time, so I didn't have time to really partake in extracurriculars. So I said, when I go to college, I want to start Unified Theater, and so that's what I did. A couple friends and I started Unified Theater here, and the way we were able to do that is because we had Farmington Farmington Valley Transitional Academy on campus. And it was really great. So it was the first time a club, if you will, where students with and without intellectual and physical disabilities were able to come together. We had a club, and we created our own scripts and plays, and it was a really great experience, and it was the first college to ever have unified theater on campus. I wish I could have kept it going, but then grad school happened, and yeah. But it was definitely a really great experience. And one of the open mics I did was actually with FETA, and we had the students, you know, with different abilities really coming in and shining their spotlight on their different, you know, they did poetry. We had a young woman with Down syndrome sing Mamma Mia, a song from Mamma Mia. I mean, it was just the most amazing experience. So I was happy that I was able to, you know, help create that safe space, but also, you know, just combine my love for like public speaking. Kudos to Mary Johnson. Public speaking, the arts, and just talking about those uncomfortable topics together, and just create joy out of it. So, next slide. So this is highlighting grad school. So I have to say I was a junior, a senior, and a grad student, all at the same time. I would not recommend that. There were semesters where I was taking 21 credits, and professors would definitely be like, you should not do this, but I'm stubborn, so I still did it. But, you know, because of Hillyer, because of the amazing school and the amazing professors at Hillyer College, I was actually able to, I had the opportunity to graduate early, to choose that, or to choose to go into the master's program of organizational psychology. And of course, everyone was telling me, you should do the master's, so I did. So these are just some pictures, the top left. Fun fact, my cousin and I, we were doing our master's at the same time. She was doing her MBA, I was doing my MSOP, and we actually had to do a business class together, so that was really cool. So that's that picture there. And then to the right, you'll see my whole squad there, that some of them are here today and just congratulating me and getting my master's degree. And I have to give kudos to Dr. Sharp, who is a professor in A&S, and I literally would not have been able to do grad school without her. So this next slide, it's just really interesting, and I don't know if you're noticing, but there's definitely a pattern with the professors that I had at University of Hartford. I literally would not be where I am today, because even one of the most greatest experiences that could have ever happened to me was because of a professor of mine at UHart. And she was one of my professors in grad school. Her name is Professor Morgan. And she's like, hey, you should apply to this. And then other professors also messaged me on LinkedIn like, hey, you need to apply to this. So I was like, okay, I need to apply to this. So this is just a highlight reel. I could spend so much time talking about this. I'll save you that. But basically, this program was a 6-month intensive community leadership development program where you were assigned a project team, and the Obama Foundation gave you $1,000 to create a community project that is going to impact the community, the Hartford community. And so so this was my project team, and I don't know if any of you know J. Iris Baker, but he's actually an alumni of UHart. So that was really crazy that we were like, what? We're in the Obama Foundation? And we were in the same group. So yeah, so our project was to do basically a pattern with what I was doing with the open mics, getting people together, sharing resources, talking about uncomfortable things. We created our project called Wealthy Minds, so it was WELLTHY Minds. And we really just wanted to bring different resources to different neighborhoods of Hartford. You know, there's Frog Hollow, there's just different neighborhoods in Hartford, and we really were just passionate about making sure people had enough transportation, or they had, there's a lot of language barriers in different parts of Hartford, so we just wanted to bring different awareness about that. And it was a lot more detailed than that, but I'm giving like the high version of it. But long story short, our project was selected, and we were able to actually go to the Obama Foundation Summit in Chicago. And so that was really neat because we didn't even know that was a thing. There's a pattern here. And so upon getting ready to go to Chicago, we were asked, do you see where it says places reveal our purpose? So we were assigned, every person that attended the conference had to kind of submit writing blurb, if you will, about what places mean to you. And so I wrote Hartford, and I talked University of Hartford, and I was selected. I don't know how this kept happening, y'all, but my writing piece got selected. And so essentially that afforded me the opportunity to submit a question to Yara Shahidi and Barack Obama, who were going to be on a panel together. So I was like, okay, well, there's so many questions I would want to ask them. How am I supposed to just choose one? So submitted a question, getting ready to go to Chicago, and there's a woman I call my fairy godmother who was one of the mentors in the Obama program. And she calls me and she goes, hey, your question got selected. Your question got selected, but instead of you just them reading it, Barack Obama wants you on stage to ask the question. Oh. So that happened. And I forgot to mention one thing. With me submitting the writing piece on what the place means to me, the first opportunity was to be a keynote speaker. So that's all I knew. I knew I was going to be a keynote speaker, and that's this middle picture there. I knew I was going to be one of the keynote speakers at the conference, but I didn't know I was going to be on stage with Barack Obama. Like, that was a complete surprise. I think I almost died and came back to life. I called my dad and I was like, I'm freaking out. Can you calm me down? And he calmed me down, and I was ready to go. So that's just some stuff. But I had to kind of pinch myself because right before it was showtime, my fairy godmother says, hey, you're about to meet Barack Obama in 15 minutes, and he's backstage. And I'm like, what? You can't just, what do you mean? So I got to sit with him backstage. He's the most cool, collected guy. I mean, everyone has their, take on politics, right? But him as an individual, he was literally sitting like this with he's like, hey guys, come in. And I'm like, what is happening? So literally, he turns to me. There was a group of young students that, that's us on the stage there. And he pulled us backstage and he said, so Mimi, how you doing today? Like, you know my name, cool, great. So I asked for a selfie and I had one job. It came out blurry. I had one job. My hand was like this. But I got it, it's fine, we made it. And just a fun fact, out of this program, the Obama Foundation Community Leadership Corps, there were thousands of applicants to this program. And I got selected, but also my boyfriend, who's that fine gentleman standing next to me, he also got selected to be part of the program. So it was really cool. We lived at the same address. I don't know if they peeped that or what, but we both got to do this journey together. So that was really, really awesome. So we were known as the Obama Foundation power couple. So the future Mr. and Mrs. Rockwell. So I'll breeze through the next few slides, but this is just highlighting some of the social justice and community organizing work that I do. So my dad's been involved in Special Olympics ever since I can remember, just a group of firefighters. He would do that every year. And as I got older, I was able to actually volunteer and become a coach, and it's definitely one of my favorite things that I do. So Special Olympics photos, and that's the team that I coach on the bottom left. Earlier in the bio that she read, I got an award to be one of the 100 women of color, and so that's that picture in the middle. And then CT Peace Fest. So definitely want to talk about that. So CT Peace Fest is a culmination of all of the open mics that I was able to do on campus, right? All of the organizing that I've been able to do in the community, and as well as all the experience that I was able to have in the Obama Foundation Community Leadership Corps. And so essentially I noticed there was a pattern of everything that I was doing. So that's where CT Peace Fest came about, and it's basically a social justice music and arts festival where we get people from all different backgrounds, youth, it doesn't matter, all different backgrounds, doing music, poetry, whatever the case is, and raising awareness about different organizations in the area and resources that we can provide to people in the area. So I did different parts of Connecticut, so I'm in Britain, and all different parts of Hartford. So I do plan to keep it going, but adult life is definitely hard and super busy, so I'm taking a little break for right now, but I will definitely get back to it. But definitely would love to invite Hillyer College students to participate or to volunteer if you're interested. And then further to the right is just, I led and participated in several protests over the last couple years, but this was the one that they were referring to in West Hartford that drew, I think, a crowd of almost 5,000 people. So that was great, but it was cool. This next slide will be super quick. Another hobby of mine is film production. So I've been doing music videos, short films, documentaries, web series, and it's really a way where storytelling is very powerful, right? Storytelling for me is the way, it's the intersection of anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the arts, music. It's really where you're able to make it all come together, and something that, if you create a film or a video, it's something that outlives you. So I know that if I were to die tomorrow, I have stuff that my family can look back at and like, hey, I got to work on that, you know, it's something that outlived me. And it's a story that will live on forever. We can be able to tell the stories of, you know, people of color and their struggles, but also their accomplishments. Because I feel like if you notice in the media, a lot of the stuff you see is really focused on the struggles of our people, not the accomplishments and the celebrations, and that needs to be pictured more. So, yes, just, yeah. And then this is where I am today. So this is kind of my journey. So I started at Hillyer College 2015, and I have to just, my anchor in Hillyer College is Dr. Paula Alderette. I literally lived in her office every day. Anything that I was going through, she would just walk me through it, coach me through it, like, okay, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Did they say that? That's crazy. She was just amazing. She was my everything in college. And even after I graduated Hillyer, I would just always go back because she was just my anchor throughout my collegiate career. So couldn't have survived Hillyer without her. A&S, I graduated psychology in 2017, and then I got my master's in 2018. And then just recently, last summer, I got my certificate in diversity, equity, and inclusion from the University of South Florida. And so in college, I said I was very involved. So I was part of SCA, the Student Centers Administration. I was an RA because there was no way my mom was going to let me live on campus if I was not an RA. I was also a supervisor at the Sports Center for years, very long, even after I graduated college. That was my first job, and it was great. And then I was also a teacher's assistant. And this is not an exhaustive list of all the clubs and everything that I was involved in, but definitely where I got started my professional career. I had an internship at United Technologies Aerospace Systems, aka Collins Aerospace, aka Raytheon Technologies, because all of the names are, yes, it keeps growing. I also worked at Aetna for some time. I also had an organization called Women's Health USA, and then where I am today, I started my journey at Stanley Black & Decker in 2018. So the majority of my background is in human resources, which is an arm of organizational development, which is my professional passion, if you will. And also an arm of that is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is where I am today. So as a chief of staff to chief diversity officer, as we mentioned in the story, this is a thing I didn't know existed, especially at my age, because I got to partake in a leadership development program in HR, in the HR track at Stanley. And sometime last year, the chief diversity officer tapped my boss at the time. I was like, hey, what do you think about me being my chief of staff? And then she called me, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? It was just so foreign to me. I didn't know what that entailed because all of the chiefs of staff at the organization are, I don't know, well established in their careers, 13, 15, 20 years. I got 5 years under my belt, so that was interesting. But here I am, killing it, I will So I get to help, develop the DE&I strategy for the next 3 to 5 years. I get to help prepare executive summaries and talking points for leaders. And one of my favorite things that I'll just touch upon briefly is I manage racial equity programs at the company. And one of them is called the Rise Community to Career Program. And essentially, it's a youth engagement program for students in Hartford and Baltimore, Maryland. And the students are in middle school and in high school. And so as the program manager, I kind of you know, we have a 9-month program where we feature, you know, engineers and people that work at the company to talk to the kids and kind of inspire them, talk about their careers. We also give them brand new MacBook laptops and scholarships for college. So that's really cool and a very rewarding experience that I get to participate in. And all of the students are youth of color. So that's definitely really great. So moving right along. I'm not going to spend too much time, but this is just a glimpse of when we were in the office, which was 2 years. So I work from home full time now, but these were just some snapshots of my journey when we were in person. And that top left is just, it's really cool how life is just a full circle moment. So that's actually my boss. His name is Joe Sims, and this was part of a summit that we had at the organization 2 years ago, and then now his chief of staff. So that's pretty cool. And yes, so and then this bottom, I definitely want to highlight the middle one. So I got to come to University of Hartford and got to help recruit, you know, some students to work at Stanley Black & Decker. So if you need a job, if you need an internship, let me know. So yeah, that's what I have. I have some advice, but I definitely welcome any questions. I guess big ones, like I said in the beginning, when introducing yourself, tell someone who you are first before you tell someone what you do. Get involved on campus, network, and professors are walking encyclopedias, y'all. Pick their brains, they're so smart, like they've lived a whole life, you know. Just ask them questions, they're there to help you, they care about you, they want you to win. And I literally would not be here without my professors here today. So, just saying. Shameless plug. One thing for me, not growing up, but like entering the workforce, if you will, I got rejected a lot. You apply to a lot of jobs, people, like I've heard so many no's, but what I've learned over time is rejection is redirection. It's just a way, like that opportunity wasn't meant to be because something else greater is coming. And I think I'm living the proof of that. And then also, if there isn't a path, create one. You know, I'm a firm believer that yes, there are rules, and some need to be honored, but some also need to be disrupted and broken. So if there's something that's not traditional for you, try to create a way to make it happen and don't give up on it. Make your case, show the facts, and get it done. And enjoy every moment and take lots of pictures. Like I wish I took a lot of pictures of my journey in Hillyer and I didn't. And one day you're gonna wish you did, so you can have, you know, just so much to look back at. So I'll end with this. It takes courage to say yes to rest and play in a culture where exhaustion is seen as a status symbol. And this is really important to me because, like I opened in the beginning, we're so defined by what we do and all of our accomplishments, and that's definitely a trauma response in the people of color community. We have to work twice as hard than our peers to just get everything done. But there's so much power in rest and recharging. And I'm learning that now, and I'm 26, so I'm happy I'm learning it now, so that, you know, when I continue to keep achieving goals and everything, I take my rest and I know I'm making the right decision for myself. So hopefully that helps someone in the crowd. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, we don't talk, and I'll help you create a LinkedIn profile. So yes, and then just special thanks to all of the professors that I already shouted out today, as well as Dean Goldenberg and Lori. I would not be here without you.
Time for a couple of questions from the audience, if we have.
Yes.
Yes, in the back.
If any, what career mistake taught you the biggest lesson?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay, what'd you say?
Career mistake taught you the greatest lesson.
What career mistake brought me the greatest lesson? Well, when you work in HR, there are some things, and I think let me back up. I'm someone who advocates for a lot of people, social justice is my passion. But when you have social justice meets human resources, it could be an issue sometimes. So I had to learn. I did make a mistake when there was an issue that had arisen in my space, because I was this person's HR person. And so sometimes I had to reflect on, okay, is this my social justice hat, or is this my human resources hat? And I think, you know, sometimes you'll find yourself in your career with different hats that you wear. You have to flex your style in between the two. And at that point, I didn't flex my style. I had a conversation at work that was not fun. However, I learned from it, and I will never do that again. And I also don't ever want to work in human resources. But all that to say, all of those things happen. I think that a lot of uncomfortable things are going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen, so that you realize what you want to do for your career. And thankfully, that kind of taught me, okay, maybe this isn't where I want to be. And then I kind of pursued diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is where I can kind of flex my social justice muscle a little bit more. I don't know if that helps. But.
Excellent question and answer. Any other?
Look at Luke.
Oh, yes.
You have a question?
The professor with the encyclopedic knowledge.
Mimi, would you mind? I learned so much from you, and one of the things that I learned was the incredible value of family. Would you mind introducing?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Well, it has grown ever since you've seen me. I have a younger sister that's 3 years old. I'm 26, just age gap, right? But this is my mom. Mom, say hello.
Hello.
Her name is Raina. She's amazing. I get a lot of qualities from her mom.
Yes.
This is my father, Jason Wallace. He's a fire captain in the Hartford Fire Department. He's actually a living legend in Hartford. It's kind of crazy how many people know him. So, this is my grandma, Bernice Wallace. She was a lifelong educator for many of her years and still is. This is one of my best friends, Selena Whitmore, who actually lives on campus. And these are my 3 sisters, Jaylise Wallace, Jaylani Wallace, and Luna Wallace. And then I have another sister not present, who name is Imani Wallace. Any other questions?
Thank you. On behalf of the college and the university, thank you for an amazing talk and an amazing start to your career. And we look forward to incredible things coming from you in the years ahead.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.